And welcome to the latest episode of New Londinium 1910, my Let's Build series set in heavily modded steampunk Minecraft. So, a recap up to this point is we are preparing to start working on the city proper, but to get there, there's still a few little odds and ends here at the manor house we need to get a hold of or taken care of. And last time we built a barn to house a horse so that I could get a wagon and go back and forth to the work site with the horse and the wagon and carry a lot more stuff than I could by myself. And you're looking at the barn. Now the barn still has a few features left, notably doors and windows. And of course, you know, at some point we'll put in some stalls and stuff in there. But really what I've been thinking about doing this episode is getting a horse to put in the barn. Plus, I need spruce wood for the doors I want to put on there, and I don't have any. So I'm going to have to find some spruce trees. So with all of that said, I guess the first order of the day is to go out and procure a saddle. And then once I have a saddle, I can go procure a horse. And then once I have a horse, we can look at getting those that spruce wood. And of course, then we can, you know, put everything together and build a wagon and stuff. And the way things are going, that may take more than one episode. So, I mean, you know, optimistically, I would like to get all that done this time and then move on. But historically, that's not how it works around here. So, with all that said, that is the plan. And that's what I'm going to do here. So, I got a bunch of junk on me from building the barn, and we'll need to take care of that. But let's take a gander here. I've got a lot of windows to fill. I don't know what I'm going to use yet, and the doors I will use regular doors, even though in the space for the doors is 3 high, so you don't. Well, I don't bump my noggin going in and out on a horse. I'm only going to put the doors that are 2 high. So, what I want to check though is there's a possibility that I might already have a saddle, and I'm just trying to figure out. Well, I guess that answers that question. I wanted to figure out if I did indeed have a saddle, and I wasn't quite sure where I would have put it. Well, my instincts were right. I have one right here, and some leads too. So that works out pretty well. So that dramatically shortens my expected the expected runtime on the stuff I'm trying to do today. I don't think I have a place yet for grass dirt blocks, so I'm probably gonna have to go make a place for those, but everything the other stuff should just automatically route. So this has been, it's been interesting. You know, I've been thinking a lot about this world because you know, when a few episodes ago, I sat down and I showed you my plan. And I don't think there's anything else down here I'm going to need or want immediately. With some of the mods I have, I'm not entirely sure what some of those things are. But anyway, a while ago I showed you my plan. Oh, you know, I don't have any of the birch wood blocks in storage, so now I do have a place for those. Good. And let's get rid of these building blocks. Literally building blocks. Yep. I mean, this is all good stuff. I just can't go carting it around with me because it takes up too much inventory space. I'm going to keep the dark oak fence for now because I have an idea. I think I might use the dark oak fence in the windows of the stable so air can pass in and out, but horses can't. But yeah, I've done that in the past and it looks pretty good. So anyway, you know, I showed you my grand plan, and it's pretty big, expansive, aggressive, right? It's big, and I've acknowledged up front that that's going to take a long time to build, and I'm totally okay with that. I'm still okay with that, but it was like as I was editing that video, the enormity of the task settled in on me. I mean, you know, I've been doing all this, and at the top of my head, I totally acknowledge that this is a big old project. But at the back of my head, I was like, don't worry about it. Everything's fine. Everything's, you know, just press on. And then they switched, right? And this, you know, my subconscious is like, holy smokes, what did we bite off? And you know what? It's okay. It is a big chunk of work, but I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said before, this was always... Did you hear something? I don't see anything. I could have swore I might have heard a pillager. And, you know, I'm kind of curious. I haven't seen a pillager in a really, really long time. In fact, I haven't seen hardly anything as far as monsters go. Anyway, the scope of the project is really big, and I'm really cool with that because the original plan has always been this is a multi-year project, right? So this is not a one and a done. And quite frankly, the way I've always figured this, I'll make content and I'll post content, and as we've seen, some of you have been extremely supportive and positive about the stuff I put out. So that is fantastic, but I didn't actually expect that, right? What I expected was that once I get deep into this project, we'll get to a point where the output is actually, I think, pretty impressive, right? I think people would say, wow, look at that. That's interesting. I want to know more. And then people would come to the backlog and look at the series. How did I get there? Because I think that's the key point is, you know, these guys who, like, especially guys who say, oh, I did 500 days in Minecraft, and they show you day 1, and then they show you day 200, and they show you day 500, and like, hold it. But what did you really do the 500 days, right? Well, my whole thing is, A, full transparency, and B, it's about the journey, not the destination. But I always figured that once we had gotten deep into this and the output is starting to attract people's attention, then they go, oh, how did he do this? Oh, look, there's this whole backlog. And they'll go back and they watch and see how I got from there to here. So anyhow, that's always been the plan. But the fact that it was somewhat successful from the get-go, I am incredibly grateful and surprised. Mostly grateful. Well, I don't know. I'm pretty surprised. But it's been great. Now, I remember that there's a horse. Oh, there's a horse right there. I remember there was a section of horses. What did I just hear? Hello. There is not supposed to be anybody in this village. There's definitely somebody in this village. Some stuff I apparently failed to pick up, too. Okay. Whoa! So how did Farmer John get down here? We emptied this place. I mean, it was over the course of a few episodes because there's a lot of dudes to kidnap and replace. But we will get that's a problem for another time. For now, we're okay. So this is interesting. So what horse do I want? I saw the spotted black and white one. I saw a gray one. Here's a black one. Oh, looks like he's got some skin problems on his popa, on his behind. But okay. Let's now, just for the record. Well, maybe not. I'm not a big real-life horse person, so it just seems to me that befriending a horse should probably be something more than just getting on his back every time after he knocks you off every time because he can't stand you. I mean, that's not how I make friends. That's not how people have befriended me. Is, you know, annoying the hell out of me, and then eventually I just give in. Ooh, hold on. This is a pretty one. Nice chestnut color. So, can I take the saddles off of this guy? Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure in the old days, the only way you get a saddle off of a horse was to kill the horse. But thank goodness we are more civilized than we used to be. Oh well, at least in Minecraft. Let's see. This guy is he's really picky, which is a good sign. There, Groucho Marx had a quote where he said, I don't desire to," something along the lines of, I don't desire to be a member of any organization willing to have me as a member. Oh gosh, that guy was awesome. This is not a particularly fast horse. Let me just say that. But it's okay. It works for now. You know, these houses have a lot of wood from various trees, and I see quite a few spruce bits. Now I see mostly spruce stairs, but I do see some spruce planks. So for now, I may not have to go find spruce trees. I might just, you know, gotta salvage all this material at some point anyway. So maybe I will just salvage some spruce planks from out of here. This is oak, right? Yeah, that's oak. So, yep, stairs. The planks, regular plank pieces are up high. So I'm gonna have to get on the roof. I got some blocks, cobblestone here. And we can knock out the stair piece. And we're in, right? Now we just start selectively harvesting spruce planks. You know, they used to have one of the mods I had would let you take 2 slabs of any wood type and put it, combine them into a block of planks of that wood type. I think it was cork. Might have been supplementaries, but I think it was cork. That doesn't seem to work anymore because I think yet another mod has intercepted that, and now when I combine, what is the problem? Oh, door. Yeah, trapdoor. So now when I combine 2 slabs, I get a special piece, right, from that mod. I don't remember what the piece is or which mod it is, but now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking maybe I should go in and add some recipes for exactly that, right? So maybe if I combine 4 slabs, I can get 2 blocks of planks, right? Or and while we're at it, maybe I can do the same thing with stairs blocks, right? So 2 stairs blocks will give me 1 block of planks, or maybe 3 stairs blocks will give me 2 blocks of planks, or something like that. One of the things I've always hated about Minecraft is the wastage, right? And in a survival game, not that Minecraft is particularly tough as a survival game goes. I got 12 planks. That's enough for 6 doors, and that's what I need. So we're all set. But I always, Minecraft, you can easily wind up with a whole bunch of blocks and bits that you don't want to throw away. You use perfectly good material to make it, and you may need again at some point in the future. But and there we go. But then just holding all these weird bits until you do need them, it's always been a hassle. And there's whole mods around the idea of recycling stuff back into their base components or more useful materials. So yep, it just, and again, that's not something you'll see in vanilla Minecraft because that's not their focus. I really don't understand what the team is trying to accomplish, right? Because it seems like right now really all they're doing is pushing out content, and content's okay. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. But, I mean, compared to most of the modded content, it's kind of boring. And when you're talking about like sheer quantity, it's a trickle, right? Again, compared to modded Minecraft. So I like I said, now that Hightail is no longer vaporware. Well, it technically is still vaporware, but we actually have a release date, and I even pre-bought my copy. So, the release of Hightail is imminent. Maybe the Mojang folks will rethink their strategy, like I was hoping Hightail would force them to do all along. So I don't want to see the death of Minecraft. I just think it could be so much more. And in some ways, the purchase of Minecraft by Microsoft was bad because, especially when you see what Microsoft is doing to Xbox as a whole, right? It's at one time it was all about excellence in games and building a name. Now it's just like if you're not making 30% profit for us, then we're gonna have to do something about that. And it's like, well, I get it, publicly traded company, it's all about the shareholders or whatever, but games are an art form. It's a collaborative, interactive art form, and the problem with art and industry is you can have great art or you can have efficient industrialized art, but it's really hard to get the two to combine. So I need planks and chests and wheels. What do I need? Lots. What do you need for wheels? I need planks and sticks. So I'm gonna need 2 wheels. So that's 2 planks and 16 sticks. And then in here I need 5 more planks. So it's 7 planks, 2 chests, and 16 sticks. That's a lot of stuff, but it's pretty easy to achieve, I think. I got a bunch of random planks. I got oak, and I got dark oak. And I don't have enough sticks, so let me make some sticks. And then let's make the wheels. This will be really great. Okay, and now let's make the chests. I need 2 of these. Okay, now let's bring her home. So 2 chests, 5 planks, 2 wheels, cart. Now this is a supply cart, so it's I think I can put me in it or animals in it, but mostly it's designed to hold stuff. But I'm not. Oh, that's not how you get. So it can hold me. Or I can pick it up apparently. Not quite sure how I put stuff in it though. No, that just beats the snot out of it. I'm back in the cart again. Okay, let's make sure I remember how to hook a horse up to it. That might be as important. So we back it up and here R, and there we go. I've got. Oh, I was kind of hoping I can access the wagon inventory from the horse. No, so we're hooked up. Oh, and I'm in it, but that's not what I want. Put me in it again. If I try. Oh, so this is okay, and it actually shows up as. No, how did I do that a minute ago? Here, I need you to get back here. Okay. So how do I? No, that puts me back in it again. That picks up the cart. Well, shoot, ski. Putting stuff on a cart doesn't do me any good if I can never get it back off. Ah, okay. So I have to be directly behind the cart and crouching and right click. That's what it is. Well, that's easy peasy. Oh, okay. So we've got the horse, we've got the cart. And I'm a little over 20 minutes into this. I did not think I would be here even at the end of one episode, and this time I went zipping past my own time expectation. So here's what we need to do. I'm gonna go pick my stuff back up, and we're gonna kind of clean up this idea of the paths in and through the estate and how it connects to the road. So give me the dirt stuff. I dropped off a whole bunch of grassy dirt, so let's go get that grass dirt blocks. And do some terraforming. Now, oh, I can use those. So we built a retaining wall down there by the livestock pens, and I built some stairs, but now that I'm going to be going up and down that with a wagon, I want to make the transition a bit more gradual. So we're going to use change it to a dirt path and use alternating slabs and blocks to get a much more gradual ramp. So let's see. I got path here. I mean a slab here, right? And then this next level is right. We'll just make them into paths. But here, we want to replace those with slabs. Oh, we got to replace these walls here. And then we're almost there. So that's... Did I just mess up? Yeah, I didn't mess up, but while I'm down here, I might as well go ahead and put in the retaining walls. Now put in full blocks of dirt and make them into paths. And then slab these. I think that's the end of the retaining wall. And now we just make a path. I think this is much better for the wagon. And now we'll just go ahead and also finish up, or at least expand, this retaining wall. Let's grab all this stuff. Oh boy. Let's put some stuff in the backpack. And then continue the work on the retaining wall. Okay, let's path this. Kind of a, not a formal path per se, but definitely a well-defined path, presumably from daily wear and tear, or at least frequent wear and tear. Because, you know, sometimes you don't feel like going out. You know, stay at home that day. Okay, this is something I had been kind of putting off, but we have time. So, what to do with this space? And while we're at it, we need to raise the land around the rest of the house. So there's a walkway that goes all the way around, and that's going to push out our terraced garden a bit. So it lucked, no, I wouldn't say it lucked out. It worked out well that I had all this dirt in my pockets in the first place. So, how am I going to make this mesh? Let's kind of smooth this out, make it look a little more organic. And, we might do something more formal here, like a garden or something, but for now, this will work. Now we need to bring it down to the road itself. And this is where I think we'll use most, if not all, the remaining slabs. not what I meant to do. I think that looks pretty good. Now how about over here? I really am intimidated by having to move all this stuff. I mean, we're pretty well established, but on the other hand, it has been a while, and I've had a lot of time to think up some ideas that I've gotten pretty excited about. So maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Time for some changes. Speaking of changes, as you all may know, I've talked about in the past I've had a long career in technology, but now with AI killing jobs, I mean, if you're not, oh, it's a thunderstorm. Well, let's take a break here. If you're in the tech field and you don't have AI experience or expertise, it's getting harder and harder to find a place in the technology. And of course, AI itself is, when properly applied, can be used to really dramatically reduce the number of employees you've got going. And in our sector, we have a lot of layoffs have been happening at Amazon and Meta and of course Microsoft. And now it's been tough, right? It's been tough to find a job. Now it used to be that I stuck out because I had a lot of great experience, but now there's a lot of great people with experience equal to my own, and so it's got me seriously considering some changes. Now, I was kind of hoping that maybe this channel would take off, but I never really expected the channel to take off to the point where it would be a full-time job, just because this niche, my style, the number of people who all of that would appeal to, I don't think those numbers play out. But so that's it for the channel. But something that an idea that I've returned to is the possibility of going into teaching. And it's real quiet around here. I'm just wondering, like I said, I haven't seen any pillagers in a long, long while. I'm wondering if, did I accidentally change the difficulty settings? Is it on peaceful? I don't remember ever making any changes. I guess it's possible. I doubt it. Well, let's check. Let's check. No, difficulty normal. Okay. Okay, just pretty quiet. Anyway, yes, once upon a time I wanted to be a teacher. Now that was 20 years ago, or close to 20 years ago. I was getting pretty burned out with the tech field. It was very, tech. You have. Do you guys hear something? Well, now you don't hear anything. But I could have swore I heard. There we go. I hear an Enderman. Okay, let's go check this out. Anyway, back in those days, tech was very competitive. You could be really great at what you do, but even if you were really great at what you do, you are still the weakest member of the team. They'd put you on a performance improvement plan, right? A PIP. So the push was everybody was competing against everybody else all the time. There were people who were really good at what they did, but they were already on a team of strong individuals. So to protect their career, they would seek out and join a team that was, people who are weaker, so that they could stick out, right? I mean, that's kind of a messed up situation, right? And it burned me out pretty fast. So that's when I left Microsoft as a full-time employee. I went into contracting. But when that happened, I was seriously looking at all my options, and one of the options that was actually exciting to me was to go into teaching. Now, I've always been told that I have a knack for teaching people things, to be engaging and interesting while teaching, and I enjoy it. I like helping people. I like teaching people. I like seeing that spark in people. He sounds like he's close. Well, he sounded close. Oh, okay, that's a sign he's here. Kind of dark down here. Huh. Anyway, I could have swore he would have been there, if anywhere. But at the time, I had two major problems. My wife was really on me about how much I would bring home, and a job in teaching would bring less than half of what I was making. But I might have gone around that, except for the other thing, which is it requires at least a 4-year degree and then a bunch of training afterwards. And I didn't even have my 4-year degree at that point. So that kind of sort of killed the effort before it got started. I don't like those types of drops. So it died. It didn't go anywhere, and and eventually I went back to tech, and I was happy again, because once you get into contracting, that type of competitive. Oh, I did not mean to do that. I did not mean to do that. Hold on, let me get back up here. As a contractor, it was much more straightforward. They hire you to do a job, just do the job. If you do the job, everything's fine, right? And so that appealed to me for a long time. And then of course I did go back to being a permanent employee at T-Mobile, and that's how I became a program manager. And then everything was hunky-dory for a long time. But here we are again. And like I said, there are a lot of great tech people, but way fewer jobs. And all those great people are looking for the same jobs. And they're all in the same ballpark as I am as far as experience and skill set and stuff. And so I'm thinking maybe it's a time to revisit the idea of teaching. Now, I have my 4-year degree finally. I got that 10 years ago. And but in the state of Washington, I'm going to have to get a teaching credential, and there are ways to do that if you're not already a teacher. If you're not taking like teaching as your course of study in college. I'm getting a lot more dirt. So I think that's I was doing a little research last week, and I was doing a lot more this morning, and maybe that's the route to go. But it's kind of hard if you're not already working with a school district, right? So like I'm in a situation where I'm not working with a school district. I'm not at a school district. No, except until I told you guys and my wife. Nobody knows I want to do this, so I can't just like go to one of these programs and and just, get the classroom work for the teaching credential, because it's got to be married with time spent in the classroom actually doing instruction. And so to do this, I actually kind of, it's much easier to have like a sponsor, a district sponsor. In other words, already kind of have a job or an affiliation with the district that they're willing to work with me while I go through this process, so they can put me in a classroom and get me that experience. So I think that's the next step. I already have an appointment with state unemployment guys in the new year to talk about my options, see what... I mean, I've already talked to them about veteran programs, but most of those didn't pan out. And I want to talk, now that I'm kind of settling in on this idea of teaching, I want to talk to them and see if they have some program, especially for veterans, that I could step into. Meanwhile, I need to kind of reach out to our local district and see if they got some type of program or how this would work, or if there's anybody I could talk to about this. Just don't know. Of course, last Friday was the last day of the school year in 2025. Now everybody is on holiday break, so I'll have to reserve that until the new year. Anyhow, I'm actually very excited about the prospect. It'd be a place to get back to the swing of things, still contribute, because I have a lot of knowledge to share, and I think people could find useful. More importantly, it would be a place to keep my dad humor fresh. And, kids, they appreciate that, right? Don't they? Anyway, so now what exactly would I teach? I don't know. They're always saying they need more teachers. They always need teachers in STEM subjects. I'm a STEM type of guy with a lot of practical experience in STEM. So I could do math. I could do science. I could do computer science. There's a lot of stuff I could do. So I think there's a good chance that they might find that to be worthwhile. Now I just need to make sure there aren't like 40 other engineers and PMs lined up to do the same thing, because that is a possibility around here. So anyhow, it's all good. It's all good. Not in any danger of living on ramen noodles just yet. Of course, I got 2 juniors that will be getting ready for college here, and so that might come to that. Colleges are not cheap, and now one of the kids is thinking about going to Georgia for school, so oh boy. I do kind of like Georgia. I spent some time in Atlanta on business, and so though Georgia's in the South, I spent a lot of time in the South, and I prefer our cool, chilly, damp weather over hot, humid southern weather. But again, if it's got what she wants, then more power to her. We'll make it work. Though of course I'd prefer that they go to school closer to home. Also, if they go to school in Washington State, they'll pay the resident rate, which is going to be pretty low. Plus, we've been making investments. Washington has, I think it's a 529 program where we squirreled away money for their education, and if they go to school in Washington State, we get a lot of bang for our buck on that investment. Right? There's a guaranteed return if they spend it out of state. There's still a fairly substantial return, but not as much. So anyway, that's all neither here nor there. Just wanted to throw that out there in case you're wondering, what's he up to lately? What's the job situation? Well, the job situation is as good as I would have hoped. And I think a big chunk of it too, besides the fact that it's an employer's market, they can hit, if they want somebody with like 3.25 years of experience using Atlassian projects, they could find somebody with 3.24 years of experience. It's crazy, right? They can be as picky as they want to be and still have an easy job filling the job. I always preferred when they were having a hard time filling technical positions, because one of my claims to fame, I'm adaptable. I learn quickly. I can do anything if you just give me a little time to figure it out. And that has really paid off over the years. And for the first time in my life, it's getting me absolutely nowhere. So, very strange. Oh, I was putting this off, but I think I'm going to need to clear out a bunch of inventory and start moving fields. But to move the fields, I'm going to have to plow the fields. Plow the fields, I'm going to have to harvest everything. I'm generating a lot of experience doing this, so let's use that to mend up my gear. Ooh, I didn't quite have the storage for all of it. Looking forward to when we can start cooking and storing some different types of foods here. I guess we technically have everything we need. I mean, with the choices I made in building this mod pack, one of the things I really wanted to explore and enjoy is not eating baked potatoes all the time, which is something I'm still doing, obviously. But we got Farmer's Delight, we got Delightful, we have all sorts of stuff going on in here. A bunch of the extensions for Farmer's Delight, so. I mean, let's face it. If this was me in the real world, I do love me a good baked potato, but I would, or a jacket potato if you're in the UK. But by this point, I would be so sick of them, so sick of them. So we need to, vary our diet a little bit. Besides, if the doctor's always telling you can't just eat one type of food, even if it's just all vegetables, right? That's not going to be good for you either. You need to eat a balanced and a balanced variety of different foods from the different food groups. So, unfortunately, most Americans have a tendency to eat a lot from the food groups that you're supposed to eat the least from, but. And I'm not saying I'm holier than thou. I'm saying I know this from first-hand experience. So it's not a big deal when you're young. Your body somehow tolerates it, but when you start getting older, it shows. It doesn't just show; it shows on your test results too, right? Though, let me just say. When it comes to a plane crash over water or something, your dad bod can be used as a flotation device for you and others. So it can save lives, right? So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Wow, that didn't take much. I don't think I can fix this bow. Yeah, it's not getting fixed. I think it has infinity, and that's... Yep, it has infinity. Infinity is mutually exclusive to mending. So you can have infinity, you can have mending. It's really a matter of which way you want your convenience. Do you want to carry a bunch of arrows, or do you want to not carry a bunch of arrows, but then commit to having to repair your bow every once in a while? I don't like those choices. I want to have my cake and eat it too, right? Like, do you want a slice of pumpkin pie? Do you want a slice of carrot cake or a slice of chocolate cake? And I'm thinking, if I just get a bigger plate, there's room for all three. But that type of thinking gets me in trouble sometimes. So this is the time of year that if, you know, when you go cheating on your diet or whatever in July, everybody looks at you, gives you a bit of a side eye, and does the type of thing. But this time of year, everybody's tempted. This time of year, everybody's willing to look the other way a little bit. It's like, I won't say anything about you eating that second or third slice of cake if you don't say anything about me drinking this 5th cup of eggnog. And it's like, okay, we will be all enablers together. 'Tis the season. I'm not a big fan of eggnog, quite frankly. And you know what the problem is? I can tell you what the problem is. When I've never liked eggnog, right? Even as a kid, I hated eggnog. But as an older adult, well, just as an adult, I eventually looked at what's in eggnog, and I'm reading through the ingredients. I'm like, I don't mind that, and I don't mind that. What's the problem? You know what it is? It's the nutmeg. It's the nutmeg. I don't mind nutmeg in stuff if it doesn't taste too nutmeggy, but nutmeg, especially for eggnog, they really hammer it with the nutmeg. I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it, but I definitely don't like it even to this day. So that's my eggnog problem. Because eggnog is basically just a watery custard. That's what it is, but nothing wrong with that. That's a good eggnog base would make a fantastic French toast base, right? That you would soak your toast in. So. Except for all that nutmeg. Just not. The other one that I have a hard time with, it's not a particularly seasonal one, is cilantro. Now, what's weird is that I don't like cilantro. But I do like salsa, and most salsas have cilantro in it. But, most of them, the cilantro is hidden in there, and I think it definitely adds something good, but I'm not tasting the cilantro, so yay! But some places, especially if you go to some of the better Mexican restaurants, right, when they chop up stuff to go in their salsa, they don't really, process it down to molecule-sized little bits. They've got... So that their sauce is much chunkier, and that includes big free-floating pieces of cilantro, which, yeah, you get a mouthful of those, it tastes like cilantro, and that spoils it for me. But I'm pretty sure the cilantro seeds are also called caraway seeds, right? I'm pretty sure. I don't know why there's a difference in name. I will have to double check to make sure I'm right on this. But I think if you plant caraway seeds, you get cilantro. And the reason that's important is that one of my favorite breads. I love rye bread, and I especially love rye bread with caraway seeds in them. I love caraway seeds. Absolutely love. Now, this is the thing that puzzled me, because if caraway seeds are what you use to get cilantro, and I hate cilantro, why do I love caraway seeds? I gotta double check to make sure that's correct, but anyhow, that's one of life's weird mysteries. It's the same problem I have with, I don't like raw tomatoes, right? Now, ketchup and tomato soup and tomato sauce, stewed tomatoes, roasted tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes on your pizza. I'm good with all that. That's all fantastic. Tomato and salsa. Yeah, you can't make a decent a salsa without tomatoes. But here's a raw tomato. You want a slice of tomato in your burger? Nope. But if you were to take that raw tomato and throw it on the grill and toast it up real good, yeah, okay. I don't know why. I think I do know why. I think part of it's texture. When I was a kid, the food industry in America was very different than it is now, right? So when you went to the grocery store, first of all, fruits and vegetables you'd only get when they were in season, right? Otherwise, you get all your fruits and vegetables you get out of season were in a can. And canned fruits and vegetables are very mushy, which, strangely enough, I actually like now. Didn't as a kid, but I do now. If you went and got fresh fruits and vegetables, in the early mid 70s, so fresh fruits and vegetables you got at the store, they were specifically chosen cultivars that looked good and shipped well, right? So in other words, they could pack them when they were green, and they could take a little bit of rough handling, and by the time they showed up on your store aisle a few days later and several hundred or thousand miles later, they looked okay. Those were the primary considerations. Nutrition and taste, yeah, sure, they like to have that, but that really wasn't what sold fruits and vegetables. So I grew up with fresh fruits and vegetables came from the store, and they, like I said, they weren't chosen for flavor, so they basically tasted like nothing or tasted like dirt. And if you don't have any flavor, what's left? Well, texture. And it just seems to me that I remember that the tomatoes that did well, or that you always got from the store, not only did they not taste like anything or taste like dirt, they were never really seemed to be firm and developed inside. I mean, like nowadays, we are much more aware about the quality of our produce. So we're much more keen on ideas like organic farming and flavor and the nutritional value. So, and there's been times I'll go to the store and I see these tomatoes that are ripe and firm. What in the world? I thought he's left. So where did he come from? I have like migrating villagers all over the place around here. Anyway, but back in those days, you get a mouthful of tomato, it was mushy seed slime fest, and that just has stuck with me all these years. Now when I married my wife, she grew up in the Soviet Union, and say what you want about the Soviet Union or Russia, but at the time that I married her, they still had fantastic produce in the markets when I married her, right? And she had grown up with you couldn't always get the fruits or vegetables you wanted, but when you did get them, they tasted pretty good. They tasted like they're supposed to. They had the right texture and stuff. So when she came here, she was pretty disgusted with our fruits and vegetables options, and that's when we started going to the organic food markets, and we started going to the farmers market. And there we found produce that she approved of, and then I started trying it, and I rediscovered fruits and vegetables. It was too late to save tomatoes for me, but it's very different. Like, I mean, last night I couldn't stop eating grapes. We were at a friend's house, and they had a bunch of grapes on the table, and the problem with grapes, you eat one, and that next thing you know, you're like popping them like candy. But yeah. Anyway, I got started on that because we're planting crops, and that gets me thinking about food. And even though I'm not nearly as much of a foodie as I used to be, I'm clearly still enthusiastic about food, preparation of food, the growing of food, recipes, culinary histories. Yeah, it's just awesome. food is one of those things that really brings us together like nothing else can. Unfortunately, alcohol is another one, and where food almost always brings us together, alcohol can bring us together and then split us apart. So that's pretty nice. That worked out really well. Ooh, look at the time. I'm out of time. So, anyway, thank you for letting me wax on about food. But let's. I want to kind of set up a scene here, like we do. What I'd like to do is to hook the horse up to the cart, take the cart through the barn into our little pen, and stuck. Oh, there we go. And then we can kind of show it all off like this. Let's go to third person. Where's the cart? I'm missing the cart. So I guess the cart just fell off. Is this doorway not wide enough for the cart to go through? It looks like the cart got stuck. Let's try this again. Can I do it? Bring it out a little bit. Just forget it. Forget it. We'll just go over here. Why am I looking down at the back of my horse's head? Let's look up. And now let's see. There we go. Look. I'm looking at the horizon, not counting hairs at the back of my horse's head. Okay. So, I started this episode with the idea that I wanted to flesh out the barn a little bit, get a horse, get a wagon, and you know, to enable all that, I needed a saddle. And I sincerely thought that I wouldn't even be able to finish that in this one episode. And lo and behold, I did all of that in 20 minutes. So the rest of the episode we spent on working on the estate, working it toward the next level, and I feel good about that. Among other things, though, we know that I apparently have some transients coming in and staying in my house as they feel. And we see that folks are moving back into Twin Spires, which I just don't know what to think about that. I mean, are people sneaking back from the old village? Are they just finding, you know, are these squatters who said, hey, nobody's here in the perfectly good village? Are these people looking for cultists? Are these... I just don't know. I don't know. What I do know is I'll probably just have to start tearing down buildings and relocating people like we did before it gets out of hand, because I saw one guy was a farmer. He's a little out of the way, but if you got one guy actually growing crops, all you need is a second guy, and sure enough, two guys sharing food, well, two villagers sharing food. We're off to the races with a whole new wave of villagers. So, though I don't think there's many beds left in the village. That might help. Anyway, this is also going out on Christmas Day. So if that's your holiday of choice for the holidays, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. If you have some other holiday, I hope you have a very happy holiday of that type. And I hope you all have a joyous 2026. In the meanwhile, I hope this finds you and yours in good health, good spirits, and perhaps just a touch of good fortune. Cheers.